Even in these brackets, I think like Chewy maybe like a couple of years ago. I don't know, but we're going to see a Mewtwo now. Again, the glassiest of glass cannons going up against the character that has found pretty consistent success at the top level recently in Princess Peach.
I mean, I want to say this about Mewtwo. You know, Mewtwo plays pretty similarly to Samus, who is a pretty better character than Mewtwo. But like Mewtwo and Samus will have like different prosperities of like their best movement. Yes, Mewtwo's much lower for Glass Cannon, but the trade-off is you have better edge guarding, you have probably a better projectile in Shadow Ball, you have a reflector in Confusion, and you have a better overall recovery than Samus, arguably. But so far, Jukain doesn't care about all of that. He's just going in on this Mewtwo.
Yeah, it is a big old hitbox is the thing, and you're able to, if you present that big of a body, you are pretty much inviting Peach to get more off of those side Bs, and certainly those back airs, hips. Hey man, hips don't lie. Jukain is throwing them out there and going to connect on that first stock, first blood being drawn here by Jukain with a turnip in hand, but immediately into the throes of Mewtwo, not able to utilize it to its full effect. But again, Mewtwo not able to establish his game plan nearly as easily as some other characters. And when you get someone who is able to microspace, which is not something that you get often in this game, like Princess Peach, you start to see why that is.
Oh, good air dodge out the confusion there by Jukain. ToneSone was looking for the confusion grab, but he's also using the confusion a lot to find the turnip reflection. Although it was a little sad to see Jukain pull a bomb off and just immediately throw it up in the air for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's those are the kinks you start to work out within the bracket. That's fine. Like this, you're in winners round 2. Maybe you get to figure that out, especially when you have a full stock lead, like Jukain does here after eating a Shadow Ball. How about 2? That will get the KO. ToneSone is going to find their way back into this one on a wing and a prayer. ToneSone, the Mewtwo. Going to the very least.
Ooh, and that dash attack gonna take the stock for Jukain. He should have a comfortable stock lead, and depending on how far the turnip combo will go, this may get worse. And I think that was a good turnip for Jukain, and he just lost it immediately.
Yeah, what you saw was me trying to figure out how I could inject a little bit of hope into this thing, and then you heard in real time me watching Jukain just combo that Mewtwo across the stage. So that was certainly my fault, but I can certainly blame Jukain. It seems like ToneSone is going to be doing much the same. That tail, however, going to take him off the stage just a little bit. Waits for the get up in order to deploy the Shadow Ball, and that's going to be 28 whole percentage points. The whole thing about home run swings is that you tend to strike out quite a bit with them, and kind of wonder how much of a shelf life those options have, Supernova, as ToneSone is going to be able to recover, but at 117.
This is what I was also saying, because as much as I want to make the Mewtwo Samus comparisons, Teleport's such a good recovery, as good as Palutena's Warp, but you have to deal with the problem that Jukain can go over these slow cancels, these turnips, just because Mewtwo has that big body, I'm pretty sure Mewtwo's also like one of the bigger Pokemon in the franchise, so understandably so why Mewtwo's this big in the first place. Which, oh my god, 4 airs trades, and Jukain's was better.
Yeah, and that's again, you talk about the downside of having such a big body. On top of that, you're floaty. On top of that, you're flying pretty far. You're not really surviving to these longer percentages if you're Mewtwo. You want to talk about things, value statements. That's pretty much what you're seeing. And as we are going to watch the rest of this this game 1 replay, we saw what the key moments were. And again, right here, when we were seeing the Shadow Balls kind of starting to get deployed, it was a tough thing to watch Jukain kind of get tagged around a little bit by those Shadow Balls. But again, nothing they couldn't negotiate, and you gotta wonder if shortening up the stage is the answer for ToneSone. He seems to think so, as we are going to small battlefield for this game number 2. It's the stitch. Wait, no, he has the stitch and is not able to use it. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't completely useless to hit a shield, but you can't just hit a shield and get anything from a stitch phase. You have to hit the body, not the shield.
Oh, yeah. No, hey, it's worth a shot, right? Might as well go for it, but
Big up airs coming in for Jukain. Disable lands, but unfortunately for ToneSone, Jukain was airborne.
yeah, and the whole thing makes you wonder about these turnips. It's really easy for Peach to take over a game with the right pulls, but it is so hard for another person to use those turnips against them. Even though, I mean, it's a basic projectile, but Peach, God, I mean, getting a hold of this character is like grabbing a hold of a bar of soap in the bathtub. Sometimes it's just easier said than done, isn't it?
It is. It's why not many people play Peachy Daisy in the first place. You know, I'm pretty sure a good player can take him far. You know, like the people upper up in the higher levels. But I'm surprised ToneSone's actually keeping this actually really close, as he's gonna look for a down throw into a potential aerial read, but didn't find a single one. And we're in the same situation again. I would have got the grab there instead of that dash attack.
Yeah, it's so easy to bring up. I mean, hey, with the launch of
Takes stock though.
nice, and hey, ToneSone on the board first and foremost. Jukain, look at okay, the fishing for the counter on the platform. I respect it, but ToneSone realizing discretion is the better part of valor. You really do have to be a smart player in order to succeed with Mewtwo. It is not an easy endeavor, and that's going to be a hip to the face to take stock number one for Jukain, excuse me. But
Where's Keegan Michael Key when you need him? Oh wait, he's the Toad.
oh yeah. Hey, you're right. Shoot, it's looking to become. Hang on a second. Might be calling back to Jordan Peele a little bit. This could turn into a horror film real fast for ToneSone if he's not careful. But he's going to take matters into his own hands. This is a monster all of ToneSone's creating, and is looking for the fair. Is not going to find it. Jukain again, ducking right under, and you got to think that the key to victory for ToneSone is going to be in. Yeah, not quite enough to get the KO, but you have to be a counterpuncher here if you're Mewtwo. You cannot afford to let Jukain connect on these advancing hitboxes.
I was just about to point out, you're looking at ToneSone going for a lot of these confusions, trying to catch Jukain, go for those turnips. But speaking of throws, catches the Peach Bomber whiffing, and that's an up throw for the stock. How long can ToneSone keep this lead, though?
I have to see, but I gotta say this stage counter pick seems to be working out. What do you think the big difference is for ToneSone stage aside?
I really feel like it's just better understanding of how Jukain plays in a stage where it's like, oh wait, this is VS2. You could probably die a little bit higher into the ceiling, and even so, even if that doesn't work out, ToneSone, I feel like ToneSone's just more comfortable in small battlefield than he is in Pokemon Season 2, and does not read the edge guard option with that back air, unfortunately. But that's a big lead for ToneSone, and Jukain, it is possible for him to come back, but this is looking dire. Oh, there's a confusion. Oh,
yeah, not quite enough for Jukain, as ToneSone able to get on the board. Not a bad player at all. We have seen this guy take sets off of some pretty decent players. I mean, we saw he's taken a set off of RJ just a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, I should say, and even took a game off of WebJP in that very tournament in the very next round. But it's interesting to note that tournament run ended in losers round 4 at the hands of Jukain. So perhaps thinking back to that night where ToneSone really was on his game, he now wants to get a measure of revenge. You want to end my tournament runs? Oh my goodness.
And we're also in Hollow Bastion. Oh, Jukain, interesting.
Yeah. Oh man, bad intentions on the mind of Jukain. You think you have the answers. Jukain more than happy to change the question.
Forward throw gonna give nice decent damage out those shadow balls on that forward throw. Yeah, I gotta look at this and think that, well, you probably do have the range and neutral game a little bit better if you're Cloud, but this is probably just another blessing in disguise as well for ToneSone, because you put Jukain off stage, you are feasting today.
Jukain, a very accomplished player in his own right, has wins over people like Rondor, Herbert Hoover, like just Philly staples that you see that you've seen pop up over time. And this guy is a darn good player. He has some he has a few redemption bracket wins under his belt as well, but this guy is just kind of hanging on that sort of mid-level, and he's due for an opportunity to really
Oh,
shine, but he's going to have to do so at the hands of ToneSone, who is taking it to Jukain. This Mewtwo causing trouble and making it double on Halabastion.
and this is why I was saying that YouTube would be feisty with Jukain's offstage, because Cloud's offstage game, unless he has limit, is not good, as we've seen in prior sets, depending on the Cloud players you've been watching. And yet, we're just seeing it right now. Jukain can't find his feet as this, and yet that disable. Yeah, but I was gonna say that disable probably sums up what Jukain's going through right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, when this Mewtwo is cooking, it is hard to keep up. An actual mind bender going on here from ToneSone. Jukain sitting at 94%. And to that point that you were alluding to, yeah, Cloud, it is hard to recover with that thing. Even harder to avoid that up smash on the platform. And all of a sudden, ToneSone hitting him with the disable again. ToneSone putting him in the psychic blender, and there is no escape for Jukain.
No, there is not, and that's unfortunately a tech situation I don't think Jukain was expecting, because that down throw usually leads to a combo forward air, but now that we know, now that he knows, a down throw at a decent percent of the platform, you gotta tech that, or that up smash is gonna take you out.
Oh, well read by Jukain. No one was going for the dash attack. ToneSone needs to calm it down a little bit. You have the ability to sort of slow it down. You are able to let this Cloud come to you, and again, start to counterpunch a little bit more, because all you need to do is sort of see this game out and not let Cloud Strife get ahead of steam like he's able to do with those up airs. If you lose neutral twice now, all of a sudden that lead is gone.
Spike at the forward air into the up air. I think we're at an even standpoint now. Limit is up. That's a high teleport. Oh, that's not a time to cross slash.
Yeah, doesn't have to rely on snapping to ledge. That's the one thing. And Cloud is not going to be able to cheat towards ledge.
Jump.
Going towards this, and is going to lose the stock on an SD. ToneSone providing the bait, and Jukain more than keen to bite. ToneSone moves on by a score of 2-1. This Mewtwo is a monster in waiting.
I love I respect the attempt Jukain made, because that climb hazard was probably the last thing he could have done, because that back air left Jukain with no jump. His only win condition was if ToneSone got hit by the climb hazard, you take him down with you. Mewtwo dies first.
Yeah, and even then, you saw how that started out. ToneSone, Jukain with a little nod of respect, like, okay, buddy, I see how you're doing it.
Look at this here. He wasn't ready for the tech right there.
No, not even a little bit. And we even saw right after that, ToneSone carrying on with it. But we're going to see the winning moment with the fair. And as you saw, yeah,
it hits and just Mewtwo just escaped.
Well, I mean, he was able to drift out of that sort of swinging downward hitbox, wasn't he? So that's the whole thing about Mewtwo. It's the upsides and the downsides of being a floaty. You are going to get comboed to hell and back, especially if you're Mewtwo, where you have your body being 25% of the stage's width. But also, you get to get out of things like that in those niche situations. And in that instance, for ToneSone, it is the difference between winning and losing this particular this set.
Yeah, and with that being said, we gotta run some ads here, and we have an interesting setup right here.